Hi quilty friends, welcome back. So today I'm going to share with you the quilting technique that I'm using to make these half square triangle blocks that you see. The technique is called tube piecing or tube quilting, and it is a really efficient and accurate way to make these half square triangle blocks. I discovered the technique several years ago when I was watching a video that Angela Waters did, and I fell in love with it. And I wanted to try it out, but I got a bit stuck because I didn't quite have the right size ruler at that time, so the project went on hold. I recently revisited the project, and once I got the right ruler and everything, I had a lot of fun, and I wanted to share this technique with you today. So for the purpose of the demonstration today, we're going to start with two 2.5-inch jelly roll strips. You can use whatever size strip you want, but you want something that is some length. This is 42 inches that we're going to use, and each strip is 2.5. We're going to put these right sides together and then sew a 1/4 inch seam down the one side of these two strips. Okay, so I'm at my machine and I'm going to run this strip through. And again, I'm just following my 1/4 inch guide foot. And then I'm making sure that my pieces are lined up. So I've sewn my two strips together. I just used the same stitch that I use when I'm piecing my quilting. So you would just use whatever you normally use on your machine. And now I'm going to set my stitches. And then you are going to open this up. And I'm going to press towards the darker fabric, and I'm going to go down the full length of the strip. So I'm just going to push it over. All right, we're coming down here on the end. This technique is so much fun, and it goes so fast, and you don't need like a ton to do a lot. What you saw behind me, I did that probably in about half of a day. I did sit in front of the TV the night before and kind of put my strips together, matched them up, so I could decide, which colors I wanted to go with what. And then I just clipped it with the background piece, which I'm going to show you here next. And so I had everything ready to go. So in the morning, I just put on a really good movie and just kind of started just sewing. So I have my two pieces all pressed. They measure 4.5 inches wide. I'm going to now pair them up with my background fabric that you see here. And it also measures 4.5 inches wide and is about 42 inches long as well. I'm going to put them right sides together. And I find that it's efficient to pin down the middle of the strips. And the reason that is because you are going to now sew down this side of the strip, and then when you get to the end, you're going to sew down the other side of the strip, creating the tube. So I'm going to take this piece over to my machine and I'm going to sew it together, and then we'll move on to the next step. So I have my pieces sewn together. Again, I've sewn down this side and this side, a 1/4 inch seam, and I now have a tube. You can see that? That's why they call it tube piecing. Okay, so I'm going to lay this down. Okay. Now, in terms of rulers, you need a ruler that is going to be wider than the strip that you're working with. So my strip is 4.5 inches, and this ruler is a 6.5 inch square ruler. But you do need a ruler that has a 45-degree line on it. Okay, now there is a specialty ruler that I did get and I tried it out and I do like it. It is from Cozy Quilts and this is what it looks like. And this works really well too. Now, if you're on a budget, this one works just as well too. So I'm going to show you how it works with this ruler today. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to lay the ruler down with the 45-degree line on your bottom stitch line, or the one closest to you. And then I'm going to put the tip just here where my salvage is. Okay. And I'm just going to trim to the right. Okay, and then this piece is scrap, so you can just put that away. All right, and then you're going to take your ruler and you're going to move it to the other side or to the top away from you. And again, you're going to line the 45-degree line up with your stitch line. Okay, and then you're going to take your rotary cutter and you're going to cut along that line. Okay. And then here's where the magic happens. And I'm going to show this to you. There's your block. You have a 6-inch block. Isn't that neat? Now, this 42-inch strip that I have here is going to give you 4 of these. So this quilt that I'm working on needs about 17 tubes. I'm probably going to make a few more because I want to make it a little bit bigger and add some extra designs to it. Now, let me just show you this one more time. So now the ruler is at the top. You want to make your next cut. So what you're going to do is you're going to move it down now to the bottom, closest to you. Again, lining the points up along the edge. Make sure your line is lining up all the way across. Take your rotary cutter. Make a cut. And then open up your piece. And there it is. And you'll get 2 of each because your fabrics here are slightly different. Let me just show you. So this one has the flowers here on top, and then this has the blue on top. So you'll get 2 of these, and you would get 2 of these, depending on how long your strip is. But for 42 inches for this size block and width, this is how I'm getting 4 of these out of each strip. Okay, so let me show you another fun trick with this technique that you can use. So let's say you have a bunch of half square triangles that you want to do. So you can take 2 2.5-inch strips and sew them together as well. And the cutting technique is pretty much the same. So again, you would take your ruler, and because this ruler, you know, this is 6.5, this is a smaller, you could use a smaller ruler, but this is what I have, so it will work just as well. And again, you're going to line it up along the edge. And then you're going to line up the 45-degree line again with your stitch line. Take your rotary cutter, cut the piece to the right. Again, this goes away. And then take the ruler and slide it to the top or away from you. Line it up with the stitch line, the 45-degree line. Just lay it on top of it. And take your rotary cutter. Make a cut to the right. And then you would open this up. And there's your half square triangle. Okay, isn't that fun? And then you would just move the ruler down to the bottom away from you to do the next cut. Now, if you're left-handed, this works the same way. You would just start from the left side of the strip and work your way right. And then there's the other one. It's got a little bit. Isn't that fun? So there's a really fun technique, and you get, they're all the same size, and you can get a whole bunch of them, especially if you need a bunch of the same type of half square triangle. This would be a really handy technique to use for your quilt. I hope you enjoyed seeing how that technique was done, and you give it a try and experiment and have some fun with it. And if you do share down in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. But for now, I wish you well, and most of all, be quilty.